Second morning video. Oops. You know, sometimes when you're making a video, you're telling a story, you don't realize that your story is a little choppy. So I didn't really cover how we ended up in Florida when Dennis was sick. We had already been coming for years. I'm trying to remember before Arlington Woods in Hudson. Where were we staying? Because that first little place we stayed in Holiday, we did that for several years. And then what happened? My mind's a blank. I'll have to ask Rachel. She'd probably remember better. We must have... I don't know. Well, for years, we stayed in Arlington Woods. In the last 4 years, which would have been 15, 14, 13. So we started in 2012 in Arlington Woods for the second time. 12, 13, 14, 15. And we gave the house back April 2016 because Dennis was ill, and I'm not sure what he had planned. I just can't seem to remember. I've blanked it out. He just wanted to give that house back. So we did. I wasn't happy with it. It was, it needed a lot of work, and though the pool and the hot tub were really nice. So he was at that house in Arlington Woods, and he asked me to come down and drive him home because he was sick. And Bonnie was about 16, I think. And, she had a lot of support in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine. Knew a lot of people. I knew she'd be all right. Her best friend's family watched out for her and things like that. Good friends, good people. Well, I'm sorry. Sometimes I blank. So I came down, we closed up the house. I know I've mentioned this in another video, I'm sorry, but, for me to be able to tell the story right, I got to go back in my mind. And we went home to Dover, Foxcroft, Maine. And I did everything in my power. I mean, I found notes recently because I'm going through things in the house. Notes on all the things he wanted to try, all the things we did try, the natural things, the tests he wanted. And my kids stayed behind. Mike and Maggie got a cute little place up near Homosassa, right on a little river. It looked like a little lagoon. It was just the most cute place ever. She should make videos. Their adventures were something else. They became traveling fools. Yeah, they sure did. After one of the hurricanes destroyed the house and all their stuff. And one of their cars got ruined, but FEMA wouldn't cover it. They lost a lot in that hurricane. Which one was that? I can't remember. And Dennis Jr. moved in and rented a room from one of his friends. So they were still, my two boys were still in Florida. Rachel was in Texas. That's my oldest girl. And Bonnie was with us in Maine because she was only 16. I want to start singing, she was only 16. I'm sorry. Why does that happen to me? Does that happen to you? Please comment. Do you start saying something and a song will pop into your head that, for the moment? Anyway, a crazy old lady. So, I know I'm not old, okay. What a time that was. That first year, 2016, I had such hope that he'd be well. Indeed, he wasn't. And I do believe... Wait a minute. I need to get something. I'll be right back. Okay, good. I needed this. I know Maggie won't mind if I show you Finn as a newborn because you'll never recognize him now. So, while I'm up in Maine, I get this phone call from Mike and Maggie. You sitting down, Mom? Yeah, I'm here with Dad, and I had the phone on speaker. Maggie's pregnant. There went his 5-year plan. He wanted a 5-year plan where they were going to do this and that and get some money together and then try to buy a house. And surprise, surprise, right? And I was thrilled. Oh, I was thrilled. Mikey was a little, hesitant. His plan had been ruined, but we were going to have a grandchild. And oh, let me tell you something. I am so glad that Dennis would be there to see that, because it meant so much to him for his line to continue. We're very big on ancestry and what it means. And so I said to Dennis, I know you're sick, but I'm heading to Florida. We're going to go stay with them because Mike and Maggie had lost that house. They couldn't wait for it to be fixed. They were staying with a friend, and it was a tight situation. And the same friend, I think it was his parents, had a house that was empty in Spring Hill. And it needed work. Oh boy, did it need work. But the kids, Mike and Maggie, moved into that house. And there were 3 bedrooms, plus this odd room with torn up tiles. What a mess. It just left there. And I said, I'm going down there. Maggie's going to need help after that baby. And I want to be there for my grandson's birth. My first grandchild. Oh, what a thrill. My only grandchild right now. And Dennis was still able to get around in 2016. He had that collapse in July and went to bed. What's that? I'm trying to remember. No, that would be 2017. We were still fighting to figure out. No, that was 2016. He went to bed for 2 months. And I think I had Michael come up at that time. We were going to try to take Dennis out to waltz, but he was in such a terrible situation. I'll have to ask Michael to make sure I have my dates right. Suddenly it just feels like a blur. It was 6 years ago. 6 years. God. Anyway, I'm sorry. What am I doing? Wasting time. Going off on tangents. So I came down. I said, let's go do, Christmas with them. And Bonnie would fly down. Yes, that's right. That would be the last Christmas picture we'd ever have together, because he became too sick. No, it was 2017 would be the last picture. So I do have some of this wrong. Shoot. Should I start over? No, let me regroup. I wish I could remember this right, but I'm having a hard time. Now, Finn was born in February 2017, so I came down, and I'm trying to remember that Christmas. I can't seem to remember it. I'm sorry, I've just drawn a blank for some reason. I'll have to ask the kids. Now we were staying, I know this part, we were staying with Mike and Maggie at the house in Spring Hill. Dennis would get his own bedroom, and I went and I bought him a really nice adjustable bed because he was getting worse. And there was a twin bed that had come down with Michael. Yes, that makes sense. Michael did come in 2016 around September, October. I know he was really cold. He was like, Mom, I'm freezing. And I gave him a winter jacket because he had his Florida clothes on, you know, not thinking, hello, it's, you know, cold up in Maine. And I had him, because we couldn't take Dennis to Waltz because Dennis was having some sort of a breakdown, mentally as well as physically. His nerves were just shattered. So I said to Mike, let's load up a U-Haul. I need to get some of this stuff out of here. And we took everything from all of the units that I had left, storage units, because the house I moved into in Dover Foxcroft had no garage, had no barn. Basement was too musty to put anything in. It was all in storage, our antiques. Oh, how I wish I had gone through that stuff. I could have whittled it all down. I was doing it, but not fast enough. I couldn't leave Dennis, you know. So I said, I want to see the birth of my grandson, and we went down there. We must have spent Christmas there, and I'm sure Bonnie came down, but for some reason, the Christmas of 2016 is a blank in my mind. So 2017 came, and that was the time that Dennis wanted me to keep driving him around. Wasn't that the one? No, it would be 2017, the end of that year. I can't remember. I think Dennis just stayed in his room at that time. He really wasn't very well. Oh, poor thing. And then Finn was born, and Maggie invited me to be there for it. And of course, I jumped at the chance. And so that May, I went back home to Maine with Dennis, and it was getting harder to transport him. It took money, yeah, it took money, but of course I wasn't paying any rent at Mike and Maggie's. I just was paying the expenses up in Maine to keep Bonnie going. That was a cold, cold house in the winter. How did I afford it? I wasn't working. Well, I did actually do some of the Webster markets, which were very convenient from that Spring Hill location, and I could leave Dennis with Maggie and Mike and go and do. I did, what was that one cute little one? I was doing 3 different markets. And that, you know, I was selling this stuff. I was bringing money in. I also had gold and silver at that time. And I would go and I'd see this guy at Webster. If I didn't have a good day, I'd turn in some silver and some gold. And he paid me well for scrap. And it was scrap. I wouldn't sell my good stuff for scrap. And then, so that's how I supported us from 2016 in April through 2017. So we're back home May 2017 after Finn was born. And, you know, we start doing more tests for Dennis, you know, try to figure things out. And was that the year he got his CPAP? I don't remember. I think it was 2016 he got his CPAP. Anyway, I need a break. I can't think. So, when October of 2017 came, Dennis was freezing. The house was cold. He couldn't take it. And I said, let's go back down to the kids. And we did that. Prices were starting to rise, and the people that had rented out the house to Mike and Maggie wanted it back. So I started frantically looking for a place to move Dennis. And the area that I live in now is the area that I was canvassing it, right? Well, I had my eye on the place I'm in now because it was the most affordable in the area. And it was too high. I had only so much money. And I knew it wasn't worth what they were asking. I couldn't get it now, even with work I've already done on it, that price they wanted. I found an Airbnb way the heck up in Homosassa, and oh my gosh, I had to travel all the way from Homosassa to where I am now. While I left Dennis up at the Airbnb, it was $1,400 a month, and I rented it for 3 months. And quite frankly, I was down to my last $5,000 when my house in Maine finally sold. Because I was like, I'm coming to the end of everything I had saved aside. I had let go my 2013 Toyota Camry. We only had the Prius, and that was on a lease. I'd let go all of my credit cards because I was using them to travel, to live. So again, to Esther's question, how did we do it this time? By the seat of our pants. I'd like to say by the hair of my bleep, but you know, I can't use that word here. And the house sold and saved my butt. I had that $5,000 in hand when we got home, 2018, right? May. And I had already bought this trailer. I just kept badgering him, and I kept calling him, and I kept saying, I still have that $7,000, and I'm still making that offer. And finally, must have been the grace of God or something, I'll tell you, because these people relented and took my offer. I know they lost a lot of money on this. Bless their hearts. And that's how I ended up for the second time here in Florida. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And oh my gosh, that was the most painful story. I mean, I just couldn't remember. I got to talk to the kids about those years because I can't remember. And I think I'd like to write it down so I do remember. So that when I'm really, really old, I can say, oh, look, I have it written here. That's me at 90. Bye.